We have some graduates of Next Steps. So when I call your name, come up here. These are people who went through all 4 classes and they're new partners, and this might be even their first partners lunch. So we want to just give you a certificate and a clap, an attaboy. There we go. Tammy Eberly, are you in the room? Come on up. Janice Greenstead, Jared Judd, Joy Judd, Mark Swinson, Mary Swinson, Tom Swire, Kristen Thomas, Bonnie Trimble, Dylan Tucker, and Daniela Tucker. Where is Jennifer? She has the certificates. Go ahead, come all the way up, come all the way up. Jennifer?
Give me some blank paper.
I'll give you paper because she has them on her somewhere. Anyway, some of you were grandfathered into the membership, but you still went through the 4 classes, and I wanted to bring you up here and just tell you thank you. And anyone who hasn't been through Next Steps, all 4 classes, do that because it's really an opportunity for you to hear like the whole vision, everything that we're doing. Where Jennifer? I know I went really fast. I'm not messing around. All right, head this way and she'll give you your certificate as you go out. But thank you guys. It was so much fun. So much fun. The first class. All right, while you're eating, there's a lot of material, so I'm going to go ahead and just start so that we can move through it. And you can keep eating, but just turn to page 1 and we'll just move through this book. Does anybody still need a booklet? So this last year was incredible. We had over 45, these numbers actually are probably low now, but because I did this a few months ago, but over 45 baptisms, over 400 decisions for Christ, over 900 at Easter service. New carpet was put down in the worship center. The whole foyer was renovated this year. 25 new partners. We've had our first mission to Philippines, finally back on the mission field. Over 3,000 at Harvest Festival, 25% growth in attendance. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a good time to be part of this church. And I was telling a group the other day, they were asking me a question about something. I go, man, I don't really need anything besides Sunday morning seeing people raise their hand at the end of the service. When I see that, I know that we're on the right track because you're bringing people who don't know Christ. They're coming to know Christ, so there's a connection point there. They somehow feel welcome and comfortable enough to make decisions for Christ. And then now with Next Steps, they're starting to find that next step for them to connect and serve and be a part of this family and go out and tell others. So there's always, I know this is hard to believe, there's always some issues at a church. There's always maybe some talking here and there about problems once in a while. But when I see what's happening with people coming to know Christ on a weekly basis, that's just really special to be a part of. And you guys are the reason that's happening. And I just really appreciate you so much. Thank you. That's my part. Now, John, come up and tell us about youth.
Hello, everybody. So we had a fantastic year in youth ministry, college ministry. If you have one of your handouts, if you look at some of the victories from last year, we had our first ever, we've done camp every year, but it was our first year we actually did camp for summer, Camp Fearless, and it was amazing. We had a huge attendance, and I tell you what, your kids need to be a part of it next year. We had Leadership Summit. We've had a lot of new volunteers. College group is going fantastic. Got a lot of college students that are growing in faith. We've just, you name it, we've been a part of it. Prayer and worship nights. We've handed off our leadership to the next generation. Pastor Montana, you know, is him and his wife Callie have come on board as our junior high pastors, and we're developing young pastors right now. Josh Stevens, are you in the house? Way over there. You guys know Josh. He's going to school right now, and he's a big part of our leadership. Our first year graduate from School of Ministry, you know that. Every year we hit My City Youth Conference, and there's always fruit from that. So thank you for helping us with that. We had well over 25 commitments to Christ, solid commitments of students, 13 baptisms, I think total with the 2, which is awesome. Every year we're a really big part of our schools, and we put out like $3,500 in senior scholarships this year, just giving to our community. A crazy amount of just events and things to keep kids excited and activated and being a part of what we're doing. Our vision for next year obviously is increasing our reach through our high school, junior high campuses, what we do here on Sunday morning and midweek. We started 2 nights of youth ministry this year. It's actually took off at the beginning of the school year. So high school is on Tuesdays and junior high is on Wednesdays. So it's perfect. We will be going to Mexico this year again, even though now you guys were aware that their whole mission burnt down. So we're just with your help and your giving, we are a part of trying to build that back, and we're going to go down there over Easter and be a part of that, and hopefully another Philippines trip in June. That's what we want to be a part of. But we have had just a lot of really great things going on, and we're excited just with the new leadership coming on. They've been trained up, trained well, and hopefully your kids are a part of it. So if they're not, you can get all the information you want by coming talking to me or through the office or through our website, okay?
All right. Well, we had a wonderful year with worship. We're so blessed to have so many gifted, talented musicians here in our church. And it's just an honor to lead them and to serve with them. We're just so blessed. One of the things that we've been continually to work on and improve that we implemented last year was the choir being a part of the worship service, not just singing a special song, and you kind of saw that today. And we're kind of taking some new steps forward where the band is going to support underneath the music, so we're excited about that. And there's a lot of little things that we've been improving this year, kind of behind the scene things that hopefully you don't notice. It just makes things better. There's a lot of technology out there for churches specifically, and we're trying to integrate those things into our system so that we can basically duplicate what we do on Sunday mornings onto our online service. And that's what we're looking to do, to try to get those both as high quality as possible. So we're always trying to improve our service here on Sunday mornings, but also especially since the pandemic, but also just the way technology is, you have just a huge opportunity to get the gospel out, have church services to people online. And so we've taken some pretty big strides this year to improve that with some of the ways that we're getting lyrics on the screens and better formats and training up new volunteers. So it's exciting. You've also seen our kind of our pre-service that we've been having, which we're trying to just make people that come online, get them online early, and try to keep them online throughout the service, and keep them engaged and let them know that we see them as just part of this church just as much as the people right here in the building. So we have people that are putting a lot of energy and effort into welcoming them, engaging with them through social media and things like that. So that's stuff that we are continually to improve and incorporate. There's just a lot of things. We did 4 worship nights this year. We're looking at doing that again next year. We have one coming up in December, so we'll probably have a little bit of Christmas worship. It'll be fun. So hopefully that you'll be able to come out to that December 15th coming up. Another big event we have, guys, coming up is December 3rd. We're going to have our 2nd annual Christmas tree lighting celebration. We're going to have the children's choir out there. We're going to have some worship Christmas music. We're really lighting up the church. We're trying to outdo last year, which I don't think would take too much, but How many of you guys came to that last year? So we're going to do s'mores and just be a good time. Big bonfire this year. That's what we're hoping. So John's on that. We're going to make sure that the fire truck comes out. That's when we'll know it's big enough, when they show up to hang out. What? Yeah, if you can't see it from outer space, you can't get on Google Maps and see that bad boy. So it's going to be a good time. Come out for that, guys. And we're doing it kind of early, try to kick off the Christmas season. So that's coming up real soon. Again, quarterly worship nights next year. We have some ideas about partnering with prayer teams and really just bringing prayer into that even more so than we have in the past. So that's going to be fun. We're looking at improving our social media presence the best that we can. And one of the ways that we're going to do that is to continue to improve our audio quality of our worship recordings and things like that. So we got some ideas about how we're going to better do that. We're really looking forward to the opportunity to add more cameras. Again, it's all kind of the theme of allowing our online service to just feel more like you're at church, and that people who, whether you're traveling on vacation or if you're stuck at home for any kind of extended period of time, or maybe that is where you're at, or we've even had people from other cities that have joined us and to the point where they feel like this is their church, and so we're excited about the opportunities of that and the gospel going forward as much as we can. So we're excited about that. We're just so blessed to be a part of this, and I'm excited going forward. So I learned a few new chords and a few new licks, so I'm about ready to incorporate that. So I'm excited about that. But God bless you guys. Thank you.
Like Pastor David said, it honestly is a super exciting time to be a part of what God is doing here. Like he said, the most important barometer is people encountering Jesus. People's lives being changed, because we could do country club if we wanted, but that's not what we want to do here. We want people, their lives to be changed, and all of us to be growing more and more into the image of Jesus Christ. Amen. So for 2023, there was a lot of that happening. Men's Breakfast, which has been a ministry hub for our men's ministry for many years, has grown 400%. It is amazing. And it's going to continue to be a hub for men's ministry moving forward next year as well. Celebrate Recovery started 3 new step groups, and attendance grew 150%. Like Jason said, December 3rd, we're doing our second annual Christmas tree lighting, Christmas celebration. So we're really leaning into just family, right? We're doing life together. We're celebrating. YLCC Harvest Festival, again, we're just getting better and better at it, which is awesome. So this year, about 3,000 people. Nobody died. It was awesome. We only had one bounce house tip over, so it's like we're doing better.
That's not bad.
We've added several new Bible studies and growth groups, and you saw a couple, but 20 plus people finished our Next Steps program. One of the things that is super important and we're going to be held accountable for as leadership is how did we steward people well? Like, did we steward people well? Or are people able to come in, be invisible, and then disappear and not encounter Jesus? So we're working really hard at creating systems and on-ramps and all of these opportunities for people to come out of the ambiguity of visiting a church, to be fully known by a community of people, and then stirred up towards good works and following Jesus. So that's the growth groups and the Next Steps program. So next year, it is the year of community, and Pastor David was going to talk more about it. But here are some ways for adult ministries we want to lean into this mission. Love While P Days, community service days, where we are physically showing and expressing love for our community by partnering with the YLOA and things like that, and finding needs that we can put our hands to the plow and serve. We want to do an Easter Family Day. Again, we're doing these Christmas tree lightings and inviting the community into this, right? It's not, I love hanging out with y'all, but what's really neat is there's so many people I don't know that you guys were inviting or bringing people into this. So invite people to Christmas tree lighting. And then another thing with growth groups. Growth groups are great for finding connection, but what can happen is that connection almost becomes like just concrete and nobody else can come into it. and then they don't do anything with it. It's just like your club. What we want our growth groups to be is find connection, but then select a mission. What are you going to be doing as a group to love your community? What mission are you going to select, whether it be the Manna House or like Madera Rescue Mission or something local that you can, as a group together, love your community, reach out to your community. So we want to break the huddle, and we want to activate our growth groups to be on mission in the community. And for spiritual growth for our adult ministry, we're going to continue our sermon-based growth groups. We're going to have our super growth group Sunday where we make it this just big, fun Sunday where it makes it easy for us to invite friends, invite family members, and then also say, hey, why don't you guys join a growth group, find connection that way. We're going to have marriage conference again, which was a lot of fun last year. We're going to have a financial conference so we can all get better at stewarding money. And follow-up process. This is a big one for next year that I'll be over is trying to find a way where if somebody visits, then they're like activated into this like racetrack of landmarks. They visited, they got a follow-up call, they joined Next Steps, they found a growth group, they're serving somewhere, they are, a part of this family so that we are, like I said, stewarding people well. The back door is what church language is. If you have a really open back door, then people come and go and you never know them. We're trying to close the back door because God has positioned us really strategically here in YLP. YLP is a lot bigger than it looks like. There's like 5,000 people that live on this 3.5 mile road and 55 miles of rat mess side roads that we're going to be held accountable for because this is our mission field. This is our community, and it's growing. It's growing younger. It's growing in a lot of directions. Our reach is even down in the Ranchos and all the way up in Bass Lake. So we really, really want to, as people come, as people move here, as people start having kids. My generation is having kids, like lots of kids. And like Pastor David said, but yeah, I'm having most of them. But that's when they open up again. Like maybe there's something more to life than I thought there was, and they're visiting churches. So we want to have really good follow-up processes. And then we're going to continue to develop all of our leaders through monthly all leaders meeting. And I want to add a monthly all teachers meeting, where if you have a desire to preach and to teach, we have a lot of different ministries other than just Sunday morning where you can exercise that gifting. So we want to start like a training class for those, quarterly growth group leadership trainings, and then our annual global leadership training. So if you want to serve, we want to activate you. We want to give you a place where you can grow in your walk with Jesus and not just like enjoy being a Christian, but see God change lives and use you doing it. So we're super stoked. I hope you guys are too.
Great. So thank you guys all so much for all of your support this year and your love through all the changes that we've made in children's ministry. It has been a challenge. One of the biggest challenges we had this year is that California passed a law that we had to become compliant with. And I know you guys have all loved me through that and are so just amazingly happy with all of the changes. But you guys have really been super troopers to do that. One of the biggest things is we moved to having to have 2 volunteers at all times with the kids, which really put a strain on us because we had 18 in the nursery today, ages 3 and under. And so we were actually really awesomely blessed that we had 4 volunteers today, which was a beautiful thing. We remodeled the children's building and gave it a facelift, gave the kids a place that they knew, this is for us, this is where we belong, this is our place. We built in a child check-in station, so it was like a clear place where there's a separation so we know that they're safe, that we have them in. We're working every day to better our safety policies to keep our kids safe. I know it's frustrating for some people. It just seems like there's a lot of steps, but it's really to keep the kids safe. Our children's ministry this year, when our team was going to the Philippines, our children's ministry, the kids alone with their families raised $1,000 to take to the Philippines. And every month they're bringing in tithes and offerings of at least $40 or more. And we are going to be sponsoring, the kids themselves are going to be sponsoring a Child Through Compassion International so that they can start writing letters. I know it's super exciting to me because it's someone that they can pray for and they can work together to write letters and support a child. And they get to be a part of that, and it's really something that's very special for them. We created a baptism class, and 9 of our children made the commitment this year to get baptized. We have recruited over 20 volunteers between nursery, Wednesday night, and at night. We are going to need to recruit at least 20 more for next year. So if God has that on your heart, we are going to need that, because one of our biggest things for next year is to develop and create a program for families with special needs kids, so that we can buddy and partner with them, so that their kids feel safe and that they feel like they have a place where they belong and are welcomed, and that they just have that someone special next to them to support them through each day, each moment, each transition that we have. We had the Harvest Festival, which was a great turnout. There's extra candy in my office if you guys want to come by and get some. I'm trying to get rid of that. We are doing our children's choir and nativity. If you haven't signed your kids up, it's not too late. We'll be starting practice next week for 2 Sundays. It's going to be a lot of fun, along with the s'mores and everything. We're going to have a little nativity and a petting zoo we're super excited about. So for next year, our vision for the kids is to create an opportunity for children to participate in a summer camp. We want to send as many kids to summer camp as we can. We like to make that low cost and affordable for them. So we're going to try to do some definitely partnerships with people in the church that would like to sponsor a kid that's maybe never gotten a chance to go to camp, but really needs that extra, place to be where they know that they're just loved and they're feeling. I mean, how many of you don't want to go to camp and get away from mom and dad for a little bit, So we want to create that for the kids. We want to design a facility here at the church that focuses on families. Do a family camp if we can. We are thinking about maybe doing even just something simple like a camp out, where we all come pitch our tents in the parking lot and have a movie outside, and we roast some marshmallows and some hot dogs and hang out and just, sing Kumbaya or something around the campfire. We're going to do VBS again this year, but this year we'd like to also have a drama and worship team for the kid that's all kids-based, that they're doing it. We would like to do some decorating to our nursery. That's not the biggest thing, but just to bring some life into the nursery. It was remodeled last year, which was awesome, and it's a beautiful thing, and it fits all of our babies in there, but we just want to give them some color this year. We are going to incorporate a family event. We'd like to do something like family bingo nights or family karaoke nights, or some things that we'd like you just to come, bring your grandkids, bring your kids, come hang out as a family, be part of if you don't have grandkids or kids, there's always grandkids that need adopting. I know my kids have found at least 2 or 3 sets of grandparents here in the church, which has been amazing for them. And the last thing is we want to, we just want to really help support the kids in this community to find a place where they feel loved, they feel supported, they feel safe, and they feel the presence of Jesus in their life every single day. And they know that this is their home, this is their family. We're going to do that because we're going to be sending all of our leaders to Growth Track, making sure that they're going through that and that they're where they need to be. We're going to do monthly trainings with our leaders, and we're also going to be trying to add more so that our leaders have a chance to not feel overwhelmed, but that they are supported in everything they do. So these are our goals for 2024. So we just thank you guys for all your support of children's ministry and everything that you've done to keep us going.
Next page is first fruits giving from this year. So the reason we report on all this is these are all non-budgeted items. We have our fire insurance just said this is $6 million worth of property that they're covering, and that doesn't include the solar field or the rental property, our 14 acres over there. And so we have a lot of commitments that we want to be good stewards of. When I first came 2.5 years ago, we finished up the solar field and the repaving of the parking lots. And then we moved over to the conference room where we do most of our meetings, a bunch of our meetings up there on the chapel. And we had to redo it because there was wallpaper like peeling off the walls and just a lot of, just needed to be updated. And then we moved out into the chapel foyer area. It needed a complete redo, and we worked on that and then repainted the chapel, redid the chapel, and it looks beautiful now. Then we moved down to this area and started on the nursery, which you guys know, had the significance. I remember when I first came and just all the hallways and random rooms. And so we opened that up, built this incredible nursery, and I think we have seen fruit, a lot of young families coming from that. So I want to thank you for giving towards that. We then moved, I believe, and I don't know if this order is exactly right, but up into the Kick building, updated that building, did a repaint, a lot of stuff that the Bobians did a ton of work on out over there. Came back over here, redid the foyer. The foyer's got a nice, welcoming first impression. And first impressions matter. We kind of get used to things. The brown couch, where we're all used to grandma's brown couch. But when somebody else walks in, they're all, what's that smelly, brown, broken, thrashed couch in here for? Those are the kind of things that happen at church all the time. You have a corner just full of junk. We're all cool with it. But a visitor or a new person goes, why is there a big pile of trash? That's the stuff we notice. Anyway, we moved the 2 gazebos to the side to really have this open front, and then came in here, changed the carpet. Oh, I think I forgot the water suppression systems for all the fire, and all that had to be added as well. The outdoors, all of it was trimmed back and really redone. New signage everywhere. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. And so these first fruits giving, that's what all that has gone towards. So when you are giving for this particular meeting, this is not to keep the lights on and staff insurance and paid and things like that. No, this is like taking care of this building, which, like I said in the service today, is looking 10 years, 20 years down the line of who's going to be reached because of what you're doing right now. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but that's what this is all about. Thinking ahead to 10 years, 20 years, what you do today will have an effect on someone's life you have not met yet. And they will be a part of this community, part of this church, and part of heaven because of what you're doing right here, right now. So a lot of this stuff on here, like, toilets and things are not exciting, but it matters. It all matters. And so I want to be a good steward and show you exactly where every dime goes that comes in. You can read that on your own. And then I'll come back to next year, but it's not just about financial things. It's thinking about how can we reach our community in a greater way. So next year is called the Year of Community. And I have this whole list, and it's kind of a guide for you to go into your own calendar and start marking up your own calendar and saying, all right, I want to be involved in these events. I'd like my life group to be involved, my growth group to be involved, and how can we kind of partner and do some part in these events? It's getting way ahead to where you can never say, I never know what's going on there. It's like, well, then you're not reading. I'm just saying. It's all right here. And so there's a bunch of stuff on here that you'll see, like community serve day, community parking lot sale, community movie night, community date night, community talent show, so on and so forth. There's a lot of stuff in here that has community in front of it because our goal is to try and reach the community in a greater way, to let them experience our church as a jewel in this, area. And I think it will be seen that way. The more we are out there doing these kind of events, not only will it be something that causes people to come here and learn about Jesus Christ, but also just something they really value as a part of their neighborhood. Brings the whole value up. There is one thing on here that I need your prayer over, and that's the mission to Israel. I have met someone when I was there that last year or the year before, and they are reaching Jews for Jesus. It's this incredible mission right there in the heart of Tel Aviv and then Jerusalem both. And we were going to go in there, sleep on the floor of their church. It was going to be awesome. And then we're going to go street evangelize, and it was going to be 3 days of training of how you street evangelize to a Jewish person because it's different. You can't do it the same way. And I was so excited. And then this war broke out, and I'm like, well, I don't know. But I'm really, really hoping we still pull that one off. So pray about that. That's in August. And I haven't said anything about it yet because I'm not sure. Other than that, this is a guide, some things may or may not happen, or we may add things, but just to kind of give you a guide. Let's leave it at that. Let's keep going. All right, next page. What do we do around here? You should all know this because it comes up in sermons all the time, but our mission is a church that empowers and equips people to engage our world with the love of Jesus. Our strategy to accomplish it is worship services you see each week. They're going to be straight out of the Bible, empowering, learning the Word of God, worshiping our God. And our goal is then to move them from the service into a next step class. That's how we equip and train. And then they move in from next steps class to growth groups, to serve opportunities, to the mission field, and so on and so forth. Outreach events, short-term mission trips. That's our strategy. We do have an actual strategy with direct on-ramps to move people right into this relationship with God. Our measurements that we usually look at are decisions for Christ, how many have completed next steps classes, and how many people are serving and attending on short-term missions or outreaches. That's our strategy. Turn the page. Upcoming 2024 big projects. These are the ones that we're kind of targeting as our major projects. One is to finish the mission strategy. This has been a 2-year process of creating a new clear mission forward where the whole church is really actively involved with the missions that we are doing, both in knowing our missionaries, knowing their kids' names, knowing what they're doing, knowing when they're in pain, knowing when there's a hurricane, like really try and connect the church with our missionaries, and then our church being a sending church that we send missionaries. We are in this really interesting spot where the college is pretty far. There's high schoolers that I believe that are going to come through our church and decide to go on the mission field, college, and all that beyond. I'm saying 15 things at once. Sorry. There's people that are going to just have this heart to go straight to the mission field is what I'm trying to say, because we have something different up here. And it's a different, I think, with not only that age, but also a lot of retirees. And with retirees, you have the same thing, a lot of time and some interest in what is next, God. So you have the two groups that I think are ideal for being heavily involved in missions moving forward. So I really think we're strategically placed to be a a powerful mission church. So I have put a lot of time and energy. We're gonna get that one at some point here going really well. We want to launch a second one that's hopefully Israel. If not, we'll backtrack and figure out what the next one is. And then we really want this year to be the first time, or not the first time, but again, to launch a long-term missionary onto the field. That's our big missionary goals. Staff infrastructure. So this is a lot of change happening. Oh, I forgot. But the offices were redone up there. Like we have slowly revamped every single room. There's really only a few rooms left, this one and this one. I'll come back to that. All right, so staff, we have been moving staff around with their job descriptions, and one is John Lorenzano becoming the executive pastor in 2024. Here's what's so funny about that. He really already is. I don't know who doesn't go to him for every single thing that we're doing, whether it's something to do with the campus, something to do with the program, something to do with the building and the needs, or knowing everything that's going on here. And I'm like, why don't we give you a title that actually fits what you're doing? And so that's what we're doing with him. His title now matches, and that's going to be so helpful that people have this person that knows everything that's going on in every single ministry that you can go to and talk to. And we're moving his office to be right in the front, just to the left of Jennifer, so that when anyone comes in, they can go right into John's office and say whatever they want to say. It's going to be perfect. What's funny is I'm serious. That's exactly what that's for. The worship ministry with Jason sounds redundant, but it's not, because our worship ministry has been growing and growing and growing with the online. People are giving online now. It's amazing. And so because online is growing, because tech is growing, because everything's growing, we're going to put Jason really focused on all of that, everything that happens on Sunday mornings up here. And then move Johnny, who was a part of a lot of that, to solely teaching, which means this. It's not just preaching, although you are seeing him more and more, but actually how you take someone from a service, get them involved in next steps, have them go through the next steps. A lot of people are good at the first step, not so much 2, 3, and 4. How many of you have been through the first step? How many raise your hand? You've been through first step? All right, how many have been through 2, 3, and 4? Okay, it's a little bit less. Actually, a lot of you need to go through the first step from what I just saw. All right, just go through all the classes again. But anyway, getting a person through those classes, they will learn what the small groups are all about. They will learn which small group is best for them. They will learn in class 3 what serving means. Why does the church always talk about serving? It's not actually for us. It really does connect you with God in a greater way, and your relationship with God will grow, and you will be solidly connected with him when you're serving. It's not just because the children's ministry is once again asking for more workers, but we do need those. So the serving's a huge component, so that connecting them with that. And then mission. What does mission mean? It's always this far off thing, but no, you're on mission every single day. So teaching what real mission means. So as you go through those next steps class, Johnny's going to be like literally with names, making sure every single person's gone through them, connect to a growth group, serving somewhere, and then if they want to, if they can, understanding and getting involved in missions as well. So that's what I mean by the teaching pastor, as well as men's ministry, women's ministry, all those things, connecting with any area of how we are teaching from children to youth to the main, all connecting it and being sure that the message of Jesus Christ is not only being taught, but being really put into a way that they understand every day they're on mission for God. Does that make sense? So that's the 3 major changes happening with staff infrastructure. And then updating the community room, that's what we're calling that over there, because we do so many events in there. I mean, literally today we did an event, but all the next steps classes, the men's ministry, there's game nights. I've seen people in there. There's just always something happening in that particular room, and it's one room that is still looking, it just needs an update. So we're hoping to do the floors, the ceiling. We want to push the ceiling up so it even has more room. It feels bigger when you're in it. The doors and the walls. The door, we're hoping to have a bigger door so that when we do these events, it's more connected. Or when it's cold, you know, the coffee can be served in that room and feel like you're getting your coffee and coming into service. Really connecting that room more to what we're doing here. Weddings, funerals, all that kind of stuff. Updating the furniture, more couches, cabinets, outdoors, the outdoor seating area. So the windows, where the windows are now, would be double doors and glass doors that push open for when you want to do a bigger event out of there. You can have indoor and outdoor seating and really have a place to have more community. So that's kind of our goal with that. But we'll turn the page really quick. Still talking about that. What will our church look like 10 years from now? We can be part of continuing to build this foundation. There are people who have built the foundation we are on. And whenever you came along, because someone before you gave and were a part of it and served, you were blessed and your life was blessed by it and you were moved forward and your kids were moved forward and so on and so forth. So what we have to always be thinking about is, okay, we're the partners thinking about the next group coming after us and making sure we're updating and being good stewards of what God has blessed us with on this acreage that we have here. And so this next project's pretty big. It's an expensive one. Our goal is $200,000 for all the building improvements. And I want us to imagine and pray about being part of that mission forward. So you have this envelope, and here's what it's all about. So the first fruits giving, I've taught on it before. There's a video online if you'd like to hear the whole sermon. But first fruits is actually many times when they were doing in the Old Testament a temple project, a new project of any kind, they would have these first fruit givings where everyone would look into their own situation and then bring forth, even surrounding nations would bring all they could to this first project, the first fruits that they would drop off so that they can start these things. It goes beyond the normal because we still have to pay all the normal bills and whatnot, and that's what tithes and offering goes to. The first fruits is allowing us to do something that's beyond that. It's bigger. It's not in the budget kind of things. And so over the next 2 months, I would love for you just to pray and imagine being part of something that you'll be able to look back the rest of your life and say, I was a part of that. You already probably can say it about other areas of the church that you already have done, and I'm so grateful for what you have done. It's been incredible to see how far we've come in a short time. And so we're just trying to finish these things up. And so this is, for after you pray, the check that you want to write, however you want to do it, there's lots of different ways. Just bring this back sometime before the end of the year and put it into the offering. And the pink envelope, it's pink because it's not for the normal tithes and offering. It's for this specific project. And then we will put that towards it. And we'll see where we are. If we don't raise enough, everything that I've said that we've done, we haven't taken out a loan. We haven't went into our savings. We haven't gone into debt. We are being an incredibly good steward of what we have, and we only do what we can. So if we only get a little bit, all right, maybe it's the floors and the paint. We're going to go as far as we can go based on this right here. And then if some of you aren't in a position to do that, or you're able to do both of these, this is a commitment for next year, this card. And the card just says, I want to, on a monthly basis, give this amount of money beyond my normal tithes and offering. And we will take that in and go, okay, we may not be able to finish certain parts of this project, but if all of these are correct and everyone does what they say, we'll know exactly when we can, and we can prepare accordingly with the right people in place to start those parts of the project. So it gives us a lot of information if you're able to tell us, yeah, we can do this amount a month that'll go towards this, so it helps us kind of guide over the next year. If it takes all year before we raise enough, then that's what we'll do. We're not going to go into debt for this. Is that it? Let me see if I can work. Okay, that's it. Any questions? I will answer any questions now. Yes, Steen. Yeah, that's the pictures on the wall. And I meant to put those on the screen. I'm so sorry. Those are supposed to pop up. But yeah, it's those pictures out there. So that's that's what we want it to look like. Yes? Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Now, there may be a time in the future we want to do something really big. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. Oh, thank you for doing it debt-free and staying committed to not getting us in a really bad position. We're in a great position. Your admin board is incredible. Not only do we have savings, they have some on CDs. It's really, really well done. And they have worked tirelessly on the 2024 budget to make sure it's exactly right. Now, let me tell you about that. That's just a goal. The 2024 budget is giving you numbers. This is coming. I'm getting ahead of myself, but this is coming. It's goals. You don't actually spend that immediately. You only spend what you actually have in the bank. So even though you're looking at, here's what we're hoping to do next year, you only spend what you actually have in the bank. So to their best knowledge, they have set that up. So they've not only set that up, there's savings and different things and an income property, 2 different income properties that are happening now. You have a great board. All right, so pray about this. If you already know, go ahead and throw it in. We'll grab those. But if you want to pray about it and get both of these back, great. Thank you. Be sure to thank this staff. You have an incredible staff that puts in so much time, and they're so fun. We have the best staff. And finally, thank you church isn't church without people. And so we have the best people, and this is a great church. So really, it is my honor to be able to open the Word with you every week. It's such a pleasure, and you are wonderful people. Have a great day.